Welcome back to another video, series 45. We have a Medabar, which is numbers. We're going to be in chapter 30. Or if a woman vows a vow too, we have the name of God right there. And binds herself by some agreement while in her father's house in her youth, and her father hears her vow and the agreement by which she has bound herself, and her father has kept silent towards her, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement with which she has bound herself stands. But if her father forbids her on the day that he hears, then none of her vows nor her agreements by which she has bound herself stand. And we have the name of God right there, pardons her, because her father has forbidden her. But if she at all belongs to a husband, while bound by her vows, or by a rash utterance from her lips, by which she bound herself, and her husband hears it, and he has kept silent towards her on the day that he hears, then her vow shall stand, and her agreements by which she bound herself do stand. But if her husband forbids her on the day that he hears it, then he has nullified her vow which she vowed, and the rash utterance of her lips by which she bound herself. And we have the name of God right there, pardons her. But any vow of a widow or a divorced woman by which she has bound herself stands against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by an agreement with an oath, and her husband heard it, and has kept silent towards her, and did not forbid her, then all her vows shall stand, and every agreement by which she bound herself stands. But if her husband clearly nullified them on the day he heard them, then whatever came from her lips concerning her vows, or concerning the agreement binding her, it does not stand. Her husband has nullified them, and we have the name of God right there, pardons her. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict her being, let her husband confirm it, or let her husband nullify it. But if her husband is altogether silent at her from day to day, then he confirms all her vows, or all the agreements that bind her. He confirms them, because he kept silent towards her on the day that he heard. But if he nullifies them after he has heard, then he shall bear her crookedness. These are the laws which, we have the name of God right there, commanded Moshe between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter, in her youth, in her father's house. So that's a pretty big section. The key there, we see that women didn't really have too much going on between their freedom between their father or their husband. All right, their father and husband had a final say, especially like in careers where you have to take oaths or bind yourself by some type of vow or agreement. If you have your husband or your dad present, all right, they may know you better than yourself. They may have some insight on what you're capable of, and they may not want you to do it. All right, so you just want to be able to take those criticism. But if you're able to, take those vows, you're able to complete it and do it. Do it. All right. If God has given you the ability to do that, do it. But if not, you may want to have your husband or father around. Now, for those who haven't, we see here for those who have been divorced, widows, and things like that, you're going to be bound by that. All right. Whatever you get into, you got to know that you're able to handle it, because it's all on you now. You don't have a male figure that's taking place or taking authority over that. Now, in today's life now, again, women have more freedom to make their own decisions. So you just have to do things based on scripture, based on your ability to serve God, and, do that within that realm. All right. So now, as we go into 31, verse 9, and the sons of Israel took all the women of Midian captive with their little ones, and took as spoil all their livestock and all their possessions. And they burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt, and all their settlements, and they took all the spoil and all the booty, both of man and beast. And they brought the captives and the booty and the spoil to Moshe, and to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp in the desert plains of Moab, by the Jordan of Yahiro. All right, just for that section, we see what's important. All right, we see when they go into different cities, we see that women are most important, their young children, their possessions, and things like that. All right. So now as we go to the next section in verse 15, and Moshe said to them, have you kept all the women alive? Look, they are the ones who caused the children of Israel through the word of Balaam to trespass against, we have the name of God right there, in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of, we have the name of God right there. And now kill every male among the little ones, And every woman who has known a man by lying with a man you shall kill. But keep alive for yourselves all the female children who have not known a man by lying with a man. Key section here, even though these women had led them astray from God, he still told them to keep alive the females that have not known a man by lying with one. So virgins, all right, even though they wasn't of the same people, virgins, women who are virgins, they hold high priority to these cultures, all right, these religions back then. Why? I have no idea, all right. You have to go back and read the sections of what's going on. Like in this section, you go back and read, get out the whole details and figure out what's going on. But as we see, keep alive for yourselves all the female children who have not known a man by lying with a man. And then also, have you kept all the women alive? So women were highly important back then. For what use? All right. If you're a virgin, you're even more valuable. All right. So the ones that weren't virgins, they didn't care. They didn't use them as sex slaves or anything like that. We see here, they got rid of them. All right. So as we go to verse 35, and 32,000 human beings in all of women who had not known a man by lying with a man. So this is how many they had. All right. That's how many women at 32,000 virgins. That's a lot. All right, so now as we move to chapter 36, we're going to go to verse 6. This is the word which, we have the name of God right there, has commanded for the daughters of Tselophat, saying, let them marry who is good in their eyes, but let them marry only within the clan of their father's tribe. As we go to verse 8, and every daughter possessing an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel is to be the wife of one of the clan of her father's tribe, so that the children of Israel possess each the inheritance of his fathers. All right, so as we go down to verse 10, as we have the name of God right there, commanding Moshe, so did the daughters to Tselophat. All right. For Mahlah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, and the daughters of Tselophat were married to the sons of their father's brothers. And they were married into the clans of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and the right rulings which, we have the name of God right there, commanded the children of Israel by the hand of Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Yericho. All right, so another good point right here just to read out, although it's kind of scattered a little bit. We just see that, for the women here and all the daughters, they had to marry someone who is good in their eyes, all right? But they had to marry within their father's tribe. So try to marry someone within your father's group of, connections or social circles. Now, if you don't have a parent or a father that's very social, don't have a lot of friends and things like that, your options for dating may be very limited, all right? And then they may not like your dad, all right? If your dad is a person that don't have many friends or acquaintances, people that he's around and things like that, he's not very popular in work or just in life in general, it's probably best to stay single, all right? That's how you know when to be single and when not to be single. So this is key here for that. And then you see that your inheritance, you want to be with someone that loves your people. If you meet someone that doesn't know your parents, you just need to know how your parents are and be able to understand if they're going to be able to like them or not from a female perspective. All right. For males, you're told to leave your father and mother. So why are you bringing your family around your parents? All right. If you follow this religion. All right. Now, if you don't follow this, all right, it doesn't matter, right? But it says to leave your father and mother. All right. It doesn't say go back and do things like that. It says to leave them. So marriage is something you have to be sure about. We get the key points out. God bless.